Imagine a world without algebra. No algorithms, no modern medicine as we know it, no cameras, no coffee, no hospitals. Hard to picture, right? Now imagine if I told you that between the 8th and 14th centuries, while Europe was stumbling through the Dark Ages, there was a civilization where scholars were measuring the circumference of the Earth, performing cataract surgeries and laying the foundations for the scientific revolution. This is the story of the Islamic Golden Age, a 600-year explosion of knowledge that shaped the modern world. And today, we're diving into the brilliant minds that made it happen. So, how did this Golden Age begin? Picture Baghdad in 762 CE. The Abbasid Caliphate has just established this city as their capital, and they have a vision to make it the intellectual center of the world. Enter the House of Wisdom Beit al-Hikmah. Think of it as the Google headquarters of the medieval world. Scholars from across the globe, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, gathered here with one mission: translate and preserve every significant text they could find. Greek, Persian, Indian manuscripts, nothing was off limits. But here's what's incredible. They didn't just translate. They questioned. They experimented. They innovated. The Islamic Golden Age was built on a simple but powerful idea. Seeking knowledge is a sacred duty. The Prophet Muhammad himself said, "Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, and seek knowledge, even if it's in China," and seek they did. Let me introduce you to some absolute legends. First up, Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. This man is the reason you struggled with math in school. He wrote the compendious book on calculation by completion and balancing, which gave us the word algebra from the Arabic al-Jabru. But wait, there's more. His name, Al-Khwarizmi, was Latinized to algorithm. Yes, that algorithm. Every time you use Google, thank this 9th century genius. He also introduced Hindu-Arabic numerals to the Islamic world, which eventually replaced Roman numerals in Europe. Imagine doing calculus with Roman numerals. You can't, because it would be impossible. Now meet Ibn al-Haytham, known in the West as Alhazen. This man is the father of optics and, honestly, the father of the scientific method itself. While Europeans thought light shot out of our eyes like Superman, Ibn al-Haytham proved that we see because light reflects off objects and enters our eyes. He built the first camera obscura, the precursor to modern cameras. But here's what makes him truly revolutionary. He emphasized experimentation and systematic doubt. He wrote, "The duty of the man who investigates the writings of scientists is to make himself an enemy of all that he reads." Sound familiar? That's the scientific method's centuries before Francis Bacon got credit for it in Europe. Let's talk about the godfather of surgery, Abu al-Qasim al-Zahrawi. This man wrote a 30-volume medical encyclopedia that became the standard surgical textbook in Europe for 500 years. He invented over 200 surgical instruments, many of which are still used today, like the surgical scalpel, forceps, and the syringe. He performed the first caesarean section and pioneered the use of catgut for internal stitches. Medieval Europe literally couldn't perform surgery without his textbook. Then there's Ibn Sina Avicenna, in Latin possibly the most influential scientist of the entire medieval period. His canon of medicine was the medical authority in both the Islamic world and Europe for over 600 years. He identified that tuberculosis was contagious, something Europe wouldn't confirm for another 500 years. He pioneered pharmacology and understood the importance of clinical trials. The man was a walking encyclopedia, and we can't forget Al-Biruni, a polymath who mastered physics, mathematics, astronomy, and history. He calculated the Earth's radius with stunning accuracy. His estimate was within 1% of the actual value in the 11th century. Without satellites, he proposed that the Earth rotates on its axis 500 years before Copernicus. He even theorized the existence of landmasses where the Americas would later be discovered. So, what happened to this golden age? By the 13th century, the Mongol invasions devastated the Islamic world. The House of Wisdom was destroyed in 1258. Libraries burned, scholars fled. The networks that had enabled this explosion of knowledge were shattered. But here's the thing, the legacy never died. When European scholars emerged from the Dark Ages, they didn't start from scratch. They built on translations of Arabic texts. They studied Ibn Sina's medicine, Al-Khwarizmi's mathematics, Ibn al-Haytham's optics, the Renaissance. It was powered by knowledge preserved and expanded by Muslim scholars. Every time you use algebra, consult a doctor, or run a computer algorithm, you're experiencing the echoes of the Islamic Golden Age. The golden era of Muslim scientists wasn't just a historical footnote. It was a pivotal chapter in human civilization. Reminder that knowledge transcends borders, religions, and cultures. These scholars weren't just Muslims making contributions to Islamic civilization. They were humans pushing the boundaries of what humanity could know and achieve. And in a world that often feels divided, their story reminds us of something powerful. When we create spaces where diverse minds can collaborate, question, and innovate together, we can achieve extraordinary things. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from history that shaped our world. Drop a comment below which scientist amazed you the most. Until next time, stay curious.